Hello class 8, hope you all are good. Students, today in this video I am going to start a new chapter in biology, that is your ecosystem. As we all know that our environment consists of living components, that is your plants, animals and human beings, and non-living components around us. All these components of environment, they interact with each other. These interactive organisms along with their non-living components together form an ecosystem. So let's start the chapter. What ecosystem? Ecosystem, actually the term ecosystem was coined by a British scientist and his name was A.G. Tansley in 1953. Actually, ecosystem depends on sun's energy, which is captured by the green plants to produce food and passed on to the heterotrophic organism, which cannot prepare their own food and are dependent on plants directly or indirectly. Without a source of energy, ecosystems are not able to function. Thus, an ecosystem can be defined as the interaction between biotic and abiotic components in a given area or habitat. So, here three words are there: biotic, abiotic and habitat. What is biotic? Biotic means all living things, that is your plants, animals and human beings and microorganisms. And abiotic means all non-living components like air, water, soil, temperature, humidity, etc. And what is habitat? Habitat means place or the environment where an organism live and grow. So, ecosystem is a structure and functional unit of biosphere in which plants, animals and some physical components, they interact with each other and maintain a balance in nature. So what is biosphere? Biosphere is made up of the parts of earth where life exists. It consists of three main components. These are land, water and air. The three abiotic components of biosphere are hydrosphere, that is your water component, lithosphere, that is your land component, and atmosphere, that is your gases component. Now first is your lithosphere. It is the outer solid layer covered by rocks and soil. The important minerals provide essential nutrients for the growth of living organisms. Now next is your hydrosphere. It is a part of the earth that contains water for sustaining life. About 70% of the earth is water, but only a small portion of it is available as fresh water. And the third layer is atmosphere. It is a blanket of air that surrounds the earth. Among the various types of gases, ozone is present in the upper part of the atmosphere and prevents us from the harmful radiation of the sun. Next is your types of ecosystem. Ecosystems occur in a variety of habitats, and these may be found in nature or managed by human beings. So based on their nature, duration and size, ecosystems are of mainly two types. First is your natural ecosystem and second is your artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystem is which operates under natural conditions without the interaction of human beings. Natural ecosystem is again divided into two types. First is your terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem consists of grasslands, deserts and forests, while aquatic ecosystem consists of freshwater ecosystem and marine ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem is again divided into lentic, that is your stagnant water like lake and pond, and lotic means flowing water like river and streams. Then is your marine ecosystem, which consists of ocean. And next is your artificial ecosystem, an ecosystem maintained and created by human beings is known as artificial ecosystem. Fish aquarium is an example of what? Artificial ecosystem. Next is your components of an ecosystem. An ecosystem consists of two main components. First is your abiotic components or non-living components, and second is your biotic or living components. Abiotic factors or abiotic components includes inorganic substances, organic substances, and physical factors, that is your climatic factors, right? First is your inorganic substances or nutrients such as carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, water, and all the minerals. While organic substances or organic compounds such as proteins, carbohydrates, fats, these are present in the living organism and link the abiotic compounds with the biotic component. While physical factors are your air, water, vapor, minerals, soil, sunlight, temperature, humidity, wind, etc. Right? Now next is your biotic factors or biotic component. This component consists of various plants, animals, and microbes comprising many different interdependent populations. Removal of even a single population from the ecosystem can upset the whole ecological balance. And depending upon their mode of nutrition, the biotic component of an ecosystem is primarily made up of three kinds of organisms. First is your producers or autotrophs, that is your green plants. Second is your consumers, or they are also called heterotrophs, and all the animals, right? Third is your decomposers, means bacteria and fungi are called decomposers or saprophytes. Let's discuss first producers or autotrophs. Producers also known as autotrophs, and they include all the green plants. Why producers are called autotrophs? Because they can produce their own food by utilizing sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water in the presence of chlorophyll present in the leaves, and by the process called photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the only process in this universe which provide food for the all living organisms. Actually, the plants, they do not produce energy. They only convert sunlight or solar energy into chemical energy of the food. Now next is your consumers or heterotrophs. Consumers are also are the organism that cannot prepare their own food, and that's why they are called heterotrophs. They depend on others for their food and energy. Consumers or heterotrophs, they includes all the animals and human beings. But in general sense, you can say that man can make their own food. We can make our own food by using the raw materials, right? But the raw materials which we are using, we obtain or get from either plants or animals, right? That is why we come under group of consumers or heterotrophs. Consumers are further classified as primary or first order consumers, secondary or second order consumers, and tertiary or third order consumers. First is your primary consumers or herbivores. They are the animals that only eat plants, and or you can say the animals which get their food by eating the producers of plants directly. They are called primary consumers or herbivores. And examples of primary consumers or herbivores include cow, sheep, deer, goat, etc. Right? Next is your carnivores or secondary consumers. These are all carnivores animal like lion, tiger, snake, frog, and hawk, which feed on herbivores or primary consumers. Third is your tertiary consumers, that animals that eat secondary consumers. They are called tertiary consumers. Examples of tertiary consumers are snakes, eagle, vulture, kite, etc. Right? Next is your omnivores. And humans are omnivores since they consume both plant material as well as animals, depending upon choice or situation. Cockroaches and frogs, they are come under the group of omnivores. Now next are what decomposers or saprophytes. They are microorganisms and worms that consume dead plants and animals. They convert the complex chemical compounds into simple nutrients which are very useful for plants. For example, certain bacteria and fungi, they break down the complex organic compounds present in the dead organisms into simpler substances. Through the decomposers, the elements enter the earth again, which are in turn again taken up by the plants. Thus, the cycle of exchange of matter continues. By their activity, the decomposers also maintain soil fertility. And they are also known as cleaning agents of the environment. There are some consumers or animals that feed on dead animals only, and they are called what? Scavengers. For example, hawk, crow, jackal and vulture. All living things need food to live. If they are starved of food, they get weak and finally what's happened? They die. As we have already discussed that plants are the food producers while animals are food consumers. Therefore, a food relationship exists between plants and animals. In this relationship, one living thing is consumed by another and is shown by a food chain. So, what is food chain? It is a relation of eating and being eaten between organisms of an ecosystem resulting in unidirectional flow of energy. As we know that plants are eaten by rabbit, and rabbit is eaten by snake, and snake is eaten by eagle. So the energy from the sun is absorbed by the plants, and rabbit consumes the plant, hence they are primary consumers. And snake prey upon the rabbit, hence they are secondary consumers. And eagle eat the snake, hence they are tertiary consumers. In this system, the energy transfers from plant to eagle in a unidirectional way. And this is an absolute example of what? Food chain. So we can say that food chain is a series of organisms, each dependent on the next as a source of food. Now look at this food chain. Here the plant is eaten by a rabbit and rabbit is eaten by hawk. Good. Or it may start with the plant is eaten by this grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by frog, frog is eaten by snake, and snake is eaten by eagle. Right? Here each arrow in a food chain means is eaten by. A food chain tells us that grass is the starting point of the food chain, and grass is eaten by the rabbit, and rabbit is eaten by the hawk. So in this way, in this food chain, grass is a producer organism which uses sunlight energy to prepare food like carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis. This grass is then consumed by herbivores, rabbit, right? And the rabbit is consumed by the carnivores called hawk. So food chain is the transfer of energy from plants through a number of consumers. Okay, thank you children, and rest of the part of this chapter we will continue in next video.